Hi, I'm Jean Mazzei. This is about juicy hips and we're going to work your splits. So if you need a nice down and dirty way of kind of getting into the hips, get it nice and open all the way around, leading you into a better splits practice, this is your jam. So let's enjoy. It's going to be a little non-traditional to start. Go figure, that's kind of what I do. But we're going to get into some other more traditional things. You can do this at the beginning of any practice. Again, a standalone practice, anything you need, okay? First, we'll start with the legs pretty wide, not too wide. Those of you that are really wide like this, no, make it functional wide because we're going to be getting in and bending the legs. Take the body over, and the first thing, it's the figure eights. So you're going to draw a figure eight with your tailbone. So that like if you have a big paintbrush on the bottom of your tail, you're going to be drawing a figure eight. And as I draw a figure eight with my tail, my head and my hands will follow like a paintbrush. Notice that I'm bending one leg and then the other leg. So the idea is to keep, again, that fluidity, that sensualness, that connection through your feet, knees, ankles, and hips. Not necessarily in that order, however. Feet, ankles, knees, and hips, maybe sequentially. And then move it up the spine just to work out any kinks, any large kinks, and get that connection between hips and spine, because one of the reasons we love to open our hips is because it really makes us feel freer in our backs. And once we get our things off our backs, life is better. After you've done enough of those to feel a little bit more juicy, just take it over to the side, a little pyramid pose. For those of you that like a little block action, if this is too deep for you right out of the gate, please feel free to use the blocks as you need to. Otherwise, hands can be on the floor. But the idea here is now you're just going to be breathing, probably about a 1-to-1 breath ratio here, as you just take that sense of space, really feeling the foundation move up through the legs, down the back. If you're starting to feel, I got enough stretch going there, flex that front foot. Again, you may be on blocks here. You may not be on blocks. That's me on block, invisible block. And once you flex the front foot, if you want, that's to get that gastrocnemius, that back calf muscle. To get the other calf muscle, the underneath one, the soleus, you can bend the back knee. Keeping the knee right over the toe, keeping my hips pretty square, thinking of my sit bones pointing straight back to the back wall on that upward diagonal, and then relax my head so I can get the maximum amount of length through my spine. Then we start to peel through the feet, moving all the way to the tippy-tiptoe, and then flex that front foot. Again, hands may be on blocks here if you need the support. But because right now I don't, I'm going to use the floor because that's just how it's rolling. So really articulating all the bones, muscles, ligaments, tendons of the feet to connect and strengthen the feet. The feet go all the way up to the hips. You might have noticed that about yourself. And we want to make sure that we acknowledge that connection as we do this series. Okay, then you just peel all the way up into a standing split. Now, depending on where you are with your hamstrings, it may not be the highest or the deepest standing split you've got, but take the one you've got and work with that. Again, hands may be on blocks here. After you've held your standing split for a while, just keep breathing. Inhale, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 counts. Exhale the same amount. And then we're going to start to pull everything into the navel center. Now, you may notice in my standing split, I like an open hip here. I think it's very rare that a person can actually pull off a standing split with square hips. And then to me, it's just like a warrior 3 with your forward bend. For a split, you really want to get into the inner thighs a bit. So that's my preference and what's worked for me over the years. And then exhale, bend both knees, pull everything into the navel center, and then inhale, extend it back out from the belly. Exhale, pull it all in, and then inhale, expand out from the belly. So I'm really feeling everything come into my center, feeling more centered, and then expressing out through the limbs. So now I have a nice balance between my internal reality and reaching out into my external world. We'll do one more of those. At the same time, I'm getting this outer hip of my standing leg, so I'm starting to actually feel this stretching. Then place that foot down on the ball of the foot, curl the toes under, stretch out the feet. Hand is on the floor here, or again on the block, depending on you. And then lift that other arm up. You're stretching this outer hip here. Breathing through nice long spine. I call this Fosse Asana, ode to Bob Fosse. If you don't know who he is, you should look him up. So I breathe deeply through, facilitating that nice stretch, gentle twist through the spine, then release that foot, activating that inner thigh, also getting more stretch in that back hip, then spin it around, float it down to the floor, and then if you've seen some of the flow video that I made, slide it down into pool boy pose, so really feeling that sense of length through the side body there. Hug the knee into the chest, let that shoulder blade rise up so I can get underneath my shoulder blade. From there, hold that a few breaths. And then spin yourself gently around to your lunge. Feel free to pad underneath your knee with a blanket or flip your mat. Handy trick. Because you will be on your kneecap for the deeper stretch. If your kneecap can't take it, or you need a little easier way in, you can keep the toe up or down. Can control, when I curl my toes under like this, I can control what's happening in my knee a little bit more. So if my knee's feeling a little tender, then I can take less weight on it by having more weight in my toes. Otherwise, top of the foot gives a nice stretch there too. After that, you can grab the back foot. Either hand will do. Today, this is the one I'm choosing. So you can press that heel into the buttock if you can. If not, don't worry about it. If you get a cramp in this back thigh, that is your body telling you, stop. I'm not ready for you to grab me right now. Foot saying to your body, stop, not ready. So listen to your body, or choose a different way, but enjoy the cramp. And press that in. Notice that I'm not on my kneecap at all. I'm actually on the top of my thigh. I'm actually on my femur here. So if you're on your kneecap, I'm going to say no. That's telling me that you need a little bit more stretch in the quadriceps before this movement is really going to mean much to you at all in a happy way. After that, then rotate that front leg out into everybody's favorite pose, pigeon. Lay it all the way down. For me, I'm not a big fan of putting a block under the hip and doing it this way because it puts a lot of weight in the knee and the ankle. So I prefer that you just lay the butt all the way down. And then from there, roll it on over. That way, my ankle, knee, and hip are all in the same plane, and I feel totally safe about not having gravity, having this be like the high heel shoe of my body, putting all that weight into my knee joint. Am I torquing my back? Absolutely not. Have you done Ardha Chandrasana? You're in this position. So there's nothing, to me, everybody's body's different, but this is much better. I come from the land of the tight hip tribe. So I understand tight hips. And if you are a bendy person, this will not be, you'll feel, I'm not feeling anything. Then of course, pull that leg out, square those hips off, do all those other things. But if you come from the land of the tight hip people, my people, this will change your life and make Pigeon a friendly place. We hold here a couple more breaths and then bring your body back up. Inhale, take that leg back to the lunge. And now you're ready to rock the hips back. Again, pad underneath your knee if you want to. You will be on your kneecap here. Curl the toes under if you need a little bit of pressure off. Hang here in half Hanuman or half split. And when you feel ready, start to slide that heel out into your split. Now, if that doesn't happen magically for you today, it will over time. But this is where you could also bring in the heavy machinery and place a block underneath this top buttock here. Or here, which gives you a really great place to hang out. Or use both blocks here and just hold yourself off the floor. Do some shoulder awarenesses. Or you could actually just hoist a crane from the top and have something hold you up from the ceiling. That also works if you happen to have one of those on hand. Otherwise, you're down the splits. For the bendy people, of course, grab the back foot, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then from there, roll yourself open into Upavista Konasana. Oh yeah, now you're feeling the inner thigh love. And just take a little moment of a forward fold here. For some of you, you're gonna go, yikes, not on my day today. Then you're just gonna hold back here, press the pubic bone down, just to feel the inner thighs. This is not about feeling your back muscle stretch, it's all about feeling juicy hips. So as I stay here waiting for my juicy hips to cook, let's share, shall we? Okay, I think we're done. Slowly bring the legs back in. Be slow there. Seriously, it was deep. And then we do the other side. So legs wide again. Again, figure eights. You're gonna feel way different the second round because you're way more juicy. Get deeper, more lush. Feel like jungle cat. Let all that melt off the back. This is where you can let tension melt off your back. Down your arms, into the earth. Drain all that stress. Melt your brain. And then flow it around to the other side. Again, pyramid pose here. Breathing, blocks optional. I won't demonstrate with them on this side. Feel that nice sense of space, that nice sense of breath. Really feel that length. Feel the relationship of head and tail, relationship of hips, sit bones, and feet. Flex the front foot to get some stretch in the back calf, front calf. And then if you want to get that back calf, you want to go a little bit deeper, just bend that back knee slightly. It's not going to be a very big bend, okay? The heel stays on the ground, so don't do that job because you really want to get that calf muscle. It may not feel like much to some, but you're getting it stretched just the same. Interesting tip, the gastrocnemius, which is the outer calf muscle, your leg has to be straight in order to get a stretch. For the soleus, which is the calf muscle that's underneath the gastrocnemius, the knee actually needs to be bent for you to stretch it. And then start to peel the feet, tippy, tippy, tiptoes. Flex that front foot, tippy, tippy, tiptoes. Again, finding that fluidity between feet, ankles, knees, hips, allowing your spine to just follow. So I'm not trying to stabilize with my spine. I'm just taking my spine for a ride. Then peel it all the way up to standing splits. Breathe nice and deep. Again, hands may be on blocks here. Feel free to open that hip because you really want to get a sense of verticality, a sense of that openness as opposed to that closed midline thing. This is more of a side opening thing. Side of the legs, that is. And then exhale, bend it all in. Now you can feel that midline. Navel to the spine, back to the knees, both legs bent. Inhale, float it back up. And then exhale, pull everything into the navel, like squeeze the light inside. And then inhale, express that light through your limbs, feet, hands, head, and tail. Pull it on in. Exhale, pull that light into the belly. And then express through the limbs. And then again, bring it on into the belly. Express through the limbs. Love that motion. And then pull it back on in. Tuck that toe behind. Fasciasana. Feeling the outer hip here. So I am feeling a lot of action in this outer hip. Again, feel free to put your hand on a block here to bring the body up. And you may opt to not lift the arm if it's just you're feeling plenty. Otherwise, lift the arm here. Give a nod to Bob Fosse and jazz hands everywhere. And lift that back leg. Activate that inner thigh. Go around the blocks that are floating there. Lay it back down. Slide through that shoulder. Ooh, yeah. Pool boy pose. Nice length of the side body stretch. It's starting to connect the juiciness of the hips up into the shoulders. So by doing this practice, you may feel more shoulder relief as a side benefit. Bringing it back around to the front. Now we're into stretching the quad again. Again, flip the mat if you need to or want to. This, of course, is for more flexibility. This would be more stability binding, which would be building, which would be a different type of practice. But you could modify, of course. Keep breathing down deep into the hips. You can use the back toe to modulate pressure on that back knee, or for more connection, or even a deeper stretch for me, I put the flat of my foot down. If you find you're having one of those crampy foot days though, toe under. Because you don't want to be feeling crampy, because, I don't know, cramps aren't very comfortable. And then, bend that back leg, heel into the buttock, stretch that quad even deeper. Again, notice that I'm not on my kneecap here. I'm all the way on top of my thigh. So my knee is free and clear. That's why it feels good. If you're here, I'm not thinking you're getting that much of more of a quad stretch than this, okay? So go here. This is where you can do modified pull boy with your shoulder. And then release. Rotate that front leg out into pigeon. Again, Feel free to lay that hip all the way down on the floor. Roll the opposite hip forward. And then just gently walk yourself forward. Breathe into the belly. Exhale the debris out through the legs. Feel that flow, that juiciness through your belly, hips, knees, ankles, and feet. And then also feel that flow floating off your spine. Just let it go. Feel that flow. And after you've had a few breaths here of delight, inhale, bring the body up. You can also be grabbing the back foot here if you want to. Bring the leg forward. And then rock back for half Hanumanasana. Again, you are on your knee here, so I like to keep my toes under for that reason, so I don't have to put so much weight on my kneecap. This could be fine. This is where you want to block up. Get your blocks ready. Heavy equipment. Or then begin to slide out into the splits. Over time, this too will be you. In your own unique way, of course. And then roll it open into Upavista Konasana. And then one more through the center. So we just had juicy hips. We worked our splits. Enjoy.